Y'all know what time it is. Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 265 leaks in 12 hours as of this post. And y'all know where to find me if you want to see the images and follow along live. Now with that being said, what exactly can we expect from this latest chapter? Well, obviously the biggest question of all is going to be what exactly is Yuji's domain expansion? As a quick recap, we learned that Yuji can actually use a domain expansion due to the soul swap training and him switching with Kusakabe, who is really good at barrier techniques. This, of course, as we know, is because Kusakabe basically specializes in simple domain, but he doesn't actually have a curse technique, so he can't use a domain expansion. Now, ominously, right whenever Yuji uses his domain expansion, instead of seeing what the actual domain does, we actually get transported into another realm. Seemingly like some kind of afterlife scene, much like we saw Gojo whenever Gojo lost against Sukuna. And in an almost exact one-to-one comparison, Yuji is looking down at Sukuna and saying hi to him, just like Geto was looking down at Gojo and saying hi to him. Which means this scene is either a part of Yuji's domain expansion, or Yuji's domain expansion sure hit effect already separated Sukuna and Megumi, and he put Sukuna back inside of his own soul. And we know that this is one of the possibilities because we already know that Yuji can use soul punches, soul cleaves, and soul dismantles. And the final thought that he had about using a domain expansion was remembering that Gojo said attacks within a domain are sure to hit. And since Sukuna already admitted himself, if he continuously takes these kinds of attacks, he will eventually lose. So undeniably, if he were to take a ton of cleaves and dismantles directly at the soul from a domain expansion, he more than likely was already separated from Megumi. Which means, yes, it's a possibility that Sukuna got off screen, though I don't personally think that's actually what's happening. Which means the other theory of Yuji's domain expansion is of course affecting the memories. Though it's often seen as a running joke, he does affect the memories of Todo, making Todo think that they're best friends, though that could just be Todo being Todo. But also of fake memories that never happened between Choso and the rest of his brothers once he was on the verge of passing away. But that could also just be explained by their blood connection. However, it is still a possibility this was part of Yuji's curse technique that he just doesn't know about. Regardless of which option it is, I do think that this chapter is going to be a heavy dialogue chapter. Especially considering the fact that we just went from all of this battling to a literal cliffhanger of him saying, "Let's go Sukuna," and they're both in their original forms. While it's possible they may exchange a couple blows, more than likely they're going to have heavy dialogue about what exactly is going on inside the domain expansion, and Sukuna trying to figure out how exactly he got there. Now, I still stand by the fact that I in no way want this to be a talk no jutsu moment, because if it is, I will be heavily disappointed. Time and time again, I have defended Akutami's writing because time and time again, he has proven that he is a fantastic writer. But for me personally, if he genuinely gets talk no jutsu treatment, and from there it's actually that he's just this misunderstood guy, this would lose a lot of points for me. No, I will not drop the series like a ton of people say almost every single week, but I definitely personally would not like this unless somehow Akutami actually executes this properly, which I would find pretty difficult considering Sukuna's first lines whenever he was reborn was, "Where are the women and children?" But that is your recap to the last chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen and what to expect from this chapter. Regardless, I think it's going to be a banger, and I will see you guys in 10 to 12 hours.